I thought about doing a Bible study to begin the video off, but I'm currently reading Proverbs chapter 7, and it's about adultery, so not having sex before marriage. It's interesting. My beliefs lie different currently from adultery and having sex before marriage. I think that obviously religious wise it's not smart, but I do think that as a teenager you should get the experience in the door, because I think you would be able to endeavor society in a whole different way, where essentially you're more a human being, you're more socially connected with individuals, and you're more experienced with certain situations and how they occur and what you actually do to tackle it. So, obviously, as far as religion standpoint, it's not the best thing, but I think obviously I have different interpretations. But essentially, guys, it's day 127, I think. I just ended the trade, and it's gonna hit take profit very soon. Because I got Confluence, I got multiple things. But I'm reading a very important book, and it's about beliefs, it's about assumptions, it's about interpretations of knowledge and events that occur in modern day society. So it's called Trading in the Zone. The author, unfortunately, I do not know your name, so I cannot disclose your name. But Trading in the Zone, it's one of the better books in my eyes. I want to get a more professional setup. So yeah, we got the book Trading in the Zone. Let's make you guys see that I'm hitting TP very soon. So yeah, you guys not even able to see it that well. But Trading in the Zone, it's essentially a book that covers the mentality behind a trader. It covers the entire mentality about, okay, we know exactly how we grew up. We also know, the conditions society has put onto us. But like being a trader and the mindset of being a trader is completely different from what I already knew and what I've been practicing for the past almost 18 years, right? Since I turned 18 in 2 weeks. Congratulate me, bro. Congratulate me. Amen. Right? But yeah, essentially, one of the main principles is accepting the fact that you have to take responsibility in such deep way where nothing is an external fault. So let's say I enter this trade, right? And now I see that it swept out the first liquidity spot right here. And price is debating whether or not it should go higher. So what I could say is, the markets are manipulative, which is a fact, obviously, or they just don't want to see me win, or some other external factor. I could say that, but at the end of the day, I'm responsible because I have to acknowledge the fact that I took a risk of placing this trade. I have to acknowledge the fact that I took a risk, that I accepted the risk of the trade, right? That's something you have to keep in mind. Especially when you're trading, sorry, I'm not sorry for that. I'm not sorry for that, don't even worry. But especially when you're trading, you have to acknowledge the fact that, it's essentially gambling, but also not in a way where you think it would be gambling, because gambling is more, there are odds, right? But you have to accept that there are odds, and that's one of the most hardest things, because if I were to tell you, okay, I'm gonna flip a coin right now, right? Head or tails, you know that there are odds that it lands on the other side. And what do you do when, you say tails but it lands on head? You don't feel anything because you knew that there were odds. And it's the same with trading. The price can go up, the price can go down. So you have to make sure that you acknowledge the odds of, okay, well, price is able to differentiate itself. It's able to reverse off of what I thought it would be. And therefore you have to make sure that you don't let yourself be emotionally and negatively impacted by the fact that there are odds. Because if I place a trade and okay, yeah, this one is gonna hit TP, right? But at the end of the day, if it were to reverse off of me of one of the liquidity spots within the zone of the trading and not hitting TP, what would I say to myself? Well, I wouldn't say shit to myself. I would just say, okay, well, the odds of it reversing happens. And the part where it's obviously not gambling is where you can actually analyze a bit of the market patterns in order to place trades where you trust yourself with the trade, where you're confident that this trade will actually, be able to hit. But you also shouldn't be so confident that you don't see possibilities. You have to think in a way that allows you to think in possibilities and makes you open-minded towards losing. You don't have to completely throw yourself into, oh, this is going to be it, this is the best setup I've ever had, it's going to hit TP easily. Obviously, that's good to know. It's good to know that you trust your strategy and trust yourself within the markets. But one thing, you have to be open-minded for probabilities and opportunities to occur. And you shouldn't be closed-minded where you only see it win and once it loses you feel bad. You should be able to be open-minded in regards to losing as well and not feel a single emotion. It's like stoicism, bro. Still haven't read the book fully of Marcus Aurelius' Meditation. I actually met the guy in a museum in Crete 2 weeks ago. Well, obviously a statue, because that motherfucker is dead for a long time. He was a very wise man, very wise philosopher. I just can't wait to a TP, I'm not gonna lie. And you have to turn your emotions off. You have to be able to turn your emotions off. A very good example of why we tend to react to the charts and to the market is the association we have with certain setups, and you shouldn't be associated because our brain naturally, our conscious and unconscious brain naturally tends to link events to each other. So back in the day, and I still struggle with this today, I'm not even gonna lie, back in the day when I was like 6 or 7 years old, don't do it, I went to the beach with both my parents and my brother, and there was a dog that was unleashed and he came sprinting at me, and I was running circles around my parents on the beach, the dog chasing me and barking and that kind of stuff. Eventually my dad kicked him on the nose and he got a nosebleed and he ran away, the dog. But besides that, that was a traumatizing event. And from that moment on, every time I see a dog, within me even being able to rationally think, within the flash of light, I immediately associate that dog with the same dog. And it's not even the same dog, but I associate the behavior of the dog that traumatized me, that occurred, that event obviously. I associate the other dog with the behavior of that dog. And the reason for that is because I'm not open-minded towards other possibilities and outcomes. I only have a closed mind towards the fact that, oh, every dog is the same. Every time I see a dog, it's associated to that event. And therefore I close my mind off to see possibilities and opportunities for a dog to be nice, for a dog to be playful, for a dog to be very joyful as well. You close your mind off by wait, come on. I'm going to finish it before I get sleepy. But you close your mind off essentially by, doing that shit. So they also gave an example in the book of where a baby existed out of curiosity. One of the main tenders that we have as human beings is being curious about certain events that occur. And the example that they gave was a newborn baby. He saw a vase on the table, a beautiful vase on the table. And this is also where obviously the part comes in with society, implanting ideas and beliefs and associations onto us. Therefore, we form associations with the beliefs and interpretations of society that brings them onto us. But essentially, the baby, he saw the vase on the table. So what did the baby do? He crawled over there. He crawled over there. Once he reached the table, he stood up, leaning his hands on the table, and he wanted to touch the vase. But from the back, he could hear the screaming, "No, don't touch that," by the mom, right? The mom said that to the baby. So the baby fell down on his back and he started crying, of course, like babies do. And the reason why the baby went to the vase in the first place is because he wants to discover, he's yet very open-minded. He doesn't know the meaning behind the vase. For him, it's just a weird looking object that it's standing there. But for the mom, it could be a vase that is like a, how do you say, like a urine urn or something. It's like, where you put the remainders of a body once it gets put in the oven. Oh, sorry, that's not the best example to give, but you get what I mean, right? It's something to memorize a loved one that unfortunately passed away. So the reason why the baby wanted to touch the vase is because he was open-minded. He saw opportunities and possibilities of what the vase could be. He didn't already have an association with the vase, so he wanted to discover what the vase was. But now, because his mom yelled at him, he has the association with a vase that, okay, I shouldn't touch it. It's like, it's expensive. It has meaning to it. It's something important, and which is obviously a good thing because vases are most likely quite important, depending on obviously what the use is for. But do you see how that creates an association? Events create associations in our mind, and the main message I want to get across is associations essentially allow you to not be open to other confluences, to other possibilities and opportunities in today's world. It allows you to not rationally think without your brain. Weird. So you're saying we should close off our brain from the charts? Well, yeah, you should. I think you should. I think you should close off your brain from the charts. I think you should turn off your brain from the charts. I think you should be open-minded and allow every opportunity, whether this is a loss, whether this is a reversal, whether this is a take profit, whether this is something else that occurs, or like a reversal of a confluence you thought it wouldn't reverse off. You have to make sure you stay open-minded and accept it. And don't stay associated with a trade that did work back in the day, because it's still a coincidence. Not a coincidence, not a coincidence. The worst word I could use, actually. It's a odd. And there's an odd to the fact that it either lands on head or it either lands on tails. And you have to be open-minded to it. And that's so important. We're ripping, by the way. Taking profit almost. There we go. Once we take profit, also I'm going to explain why it did what it did. And obviously I'm not financially in this trade. I'm just backtesting a strategy. I'm just constantly learning new information and just overloading myself with a lot of information, so my worldview expands. It's genuinely the same as if I were to live in North Korea or in any form of dictatorship. Is that the right word? I think it is. Or like Russia. It's like there's no open-mindedness. There's no opportunity to see beyond the world you're currently living in. And you have to open yourself up to all the possibilities and opportunities that actually occur. And that is so difficult for a lot of people nowadays to do. They are just blinded by their own opinions, blinded by their own circle. And that creates closed-minded people. Come on, you guys know I'm waiting. I almost wrapped up the book Can't Catch Me, or what is the name? Oh, what a sensual Catch Me If You Can from Frank W. Abagnale. This is such an amazing book. I'm at the last chapter. This is the first book in years that I've read that I can't stop reading. Every single time, every night, I try to read a bit, but then I try to stop and I just go forward. I just read the next page and the next page and the next page, and sometimes I even just read for 1 hour because I'm just so indulged in the story. Hit it. Come on. Oh, there we go. There we go. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. So close. I know you want that liquidity. Oh, we're reversing again. Oh no. No, it's gonna hit, guys. Don't worry. It's just a matter of time and patience. You have to be patient, guys. Keep that in mind, please. Patience is one of the main skills that you have to be able to acquire if you want to get into trading, if you want to get into entrepreneurship, if you want to get into self-improvement. And a lot of people will obviously tell you, well, you're into entrepreneurship for a few years. Where's your money at? Motherfucker, I don't know. What books should we bring to Switzerland? I'm actually going to Switzerland this Sunday. I think I'm gonna... Oh, the bicep thing, I'm sorry. Holy shit. Dude. You're insane. I know, I'm sorry. I actually bought this book. It's about seagulls. And I haven't read it obviously, but I know that it is about one seagull taking a different direction and all the other seagulls saying that he's crazy for taking a different direction. Very interesting book. I want to read it very bad. Yeah. There we go. Take profit. We just took profit. Don't show any emotions though. Like at the end of the day, I trusted myself with this trade. I saw a very, very clear confluence that this trade would have took place. And I could have, now I'm getting the emotion and I have to calm myself down. I feel like it could have taken out the other liquidity as well. Or at least, I could have placed a trade in the zone. But yet again, we got an 8.6 RR risk to reward ratio. So that means if we were to place, let's say $10 in it, we would have made $80. I don't even know if that's the right explanation. It really depends obviously on the lot size and that kind of stuff. And that stuff, I'm not very knowledgeable in that yet. That's something I have to learn. But yeah, we got it. So let me explain to you guys why it worked. Nice platform. I need to wrap up this. No, I don't actually. Let me show you guys. Yeah, you guys are able to see it very well. So I'm just gonna. Can you guys see the cursor? Yeah, you can. Maybe a little bit more that way, right? Yeah. So I marked out this order block. Why does it mean that this is an order block? Well, this is an order block as well. That's simply where people bought to sell. This is a downtrend, so people were buying, to sell for a higher price and therefore it dropped. Again, sort of order block, a lot of price action moved because of the liquidity. This is a, I would say sort of fuck you candle, but more a doji candle, which swept out previous liquidity. But yeah, so essentially an order block is something you see in downtrends or uptrends where people essentially buy to sell or sell to buy. So we see it here as well. This is an order block, people bought to sell, people bought to sell again. And I marked this one out because this was the most closest to the price action. So what can we actually see from this? Price is probably going to hit this order block and fulfill all the buy orders or sell orders essentially, and it's going to reverse off of it, or it's going to break out and hit this liquidity as well. But essentially, we marked that out. So that was one of the confluence I was aiming for. And besides that, I could see we were in a clear uptrend, a very clear uptrend, right? But the reason why I saw reversal was because of this move up. We broke structure to the upside. This is obviously, this is where we broke structure. And then I could see, okay, we form a new high, a sort of lower high, but then went back down. But whilst we broke structure, we created an order block on the downside. We essentially sold to buy at a lower price so we can make more profit, right? But we know that the banks do that, and we're trading from a bank perspective. We know that banks want to sell so they can buy at a higher price, but they lose money when they sell, obviously. Like they lose money when they do the sell order. Look at this price go ripping through this thing, by the way. It's probably going to sweep this liquidity out and then come back in the thing and don't break out of the thing. We can get a possible reversal as well. It's ripping. I could have taken obviously this high as well. That would have made us 12 RR. Doesn't really matter. We still are profitable if you do that shit. So essentially, we made this order block. What happens with an order block? Well, the banks wants to fulfill that order. They want to fulfill that sell order so they can move on and like make it break even. So what do? We come back in that zone once, okay? Once. Sometimes that is enough, sometimes it isn't. That's why you always want to wait for a second confirmation, unless obviously price breaks structure of this move. But that rarely happens. Mostly, from what I've seen yet, is that price retests a order block area 2 times, minimal, right? So we see it hits this zone. And what can we also see? Massive retrace, as if it were to sweep out liquidity, which it didn't, as we can see. Here's a lot of liquidity laying down here. So what I'm actually, what I'm thinking is price is going to reverse off the going to get all the liquidity, maybe push higher or maybe push lower. The odds are obviously there. And obviously we have this, I think price is even going to dip into that one. Besides that, we got this, a second retest again, and that's when I knew, okay, this could be something big. And once I saw that this was a fuck you candle also sweeping out the liquidity here, that's when I knew, okay, I have to step in, because there's just too much confirmation for me to not step in. So I stepped in right over here at this point when I saw this candle being created, and that's essentially when we were ripping. And the reason why I did that was not only because I saw the second retest and because I saw this target potentially, I also saw this liquidity. I marked out this liquidity that it could take out. And yeah, that's basically the entire trade. It's not super much confirmation. It was quite risky at the end of the day. But for me, it was enough confirmation to take action on it. Hope that teaches you guys something. Hope this video teaches you guys something. And well, yeah, that's that. What else is there to tell you guys? Oh yeah, I have a new music taste. I have a new sort music taste. I'm crazy for this stuff.
Сад моей головы, соседи на весь пух и прах, все садно в ребра и одна сатана, а в глаза бела пелена, до сорта пена бела брызжет, кипит буйно голова, да моя яма глубже рва, два на две запотрешил, сочетает...
Alright, no one gives a fuck. I just wanted to show you guys. Wow. Dude, life is good. I'm obsessed with the journey. After this video, I'm going to pitch one of our clients. She signed a LOI. If you're watching this, I'm sorry. We didn't even work on getting you the funding, but I'm going to pitch you on something even better. So essentially, she signed the LOI for us to get the funding in a 45-day period of time for her documentary, right? Very simple. So we didn't really work on getting the funding because we knew, well, she doesn't even have a brand, she doesn't have an identity that brands or partners or investors want to invest in. She doesn't have an identity. So what are we going to do? I'm going to, message her with a voice message saying, hey, what's up? It's quite a coincidence that you just reached out to you. I wanted to get back to you tomorrow, actually, on Friday. But good that we're here. I wanted to tell you that, my business partner Walt and I, we talked for a very long time with a lot of partners. I would say up to 20 partners and brands and individuals that wanted to also invest in projects like these. And they just don't see the clear vision. They don't see a clear outcome that they can acquire from actually pursuing this documentary. And therefore we also came with the conclusion, because we've talked with a lot of partners, they've reached out to their partners as well. We've came to the conclusion that we need to build something bigger. And getting funding is obviously amazing, but I believe that you also want money in your own pocket, and rights of the documentary is also very important. So what do we actually talk about with a few people as well in the space that want to get a documentary done? Well, essentially we can help you set up and launch events or coaching offers or anything in the range of making money to get the documentary funded. But also, very importantly, enhance human connections and obviously building a brand. Wow, I just exposed my entire pitch. We're gonna basically build a coaching program. I have to pitch her on that. It's probably gonna be 5K up front, with 15K ad spend, additional ad spend if she needs it obviously, because I think we can just run it organically, bro. She has 3 million followers. She's a Ukrainian bitch. Slava Russia. No, not Slava Russia, that's this. I love Russian mafia, bro. Look at this picture as well. Big fucking black Mercedes cars, G-Wagons with full black outfits. Black is such a dominant color. It's insane. Aussie, not wearing black at the moment. But yeah, guys. That's that. It's another amazing episode. I enjoyed talking about the charts a bit more. I enjoy teaching you guys, because I've always had sort of an external, how do you say that, a want to be filled, and it's basically teaching people different cool stuff. I love teaching people on mindset. I recently had a girl in my DMs. She was very depressed, and I helped her out of depression. I said, well, listen, depression is basically your body and your mind and your psychological frame mentality essentially telling you this is not how we're supposed to live. Because that just makes so much sense. Why would you feel depressed? Well, because you don't like your life. Well, live a different life. The fuck? Don't indulge into it. Live a different life. If your body, your mind, and your psychological thinking says to you, I hate my life, change that shit, bro. Nothing changes if nothing changes, motherfucker. How stupid can people be? Like, sometimes it's just so simple, but I never said easy. It's never easy. It took me one night to change my entire life, but 6 months of consistent progress to build up the momentum. And that is something people don't want to do, because the society trained us to be so fucking weak. And I have so many comments about how the society treats us. And I might even just rant right now. Because at the end of the day, social media, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. It ruined my life. It ruins everybody's lives. What do you think about the fact that porn is free? What do you think about that? What do you think about the fact that, we indulge in all sorts of behavior in terms of drugs, alcohol? We can get to alcohol even whilst we're underage very easily. We go to parties, we go to clubs, we fucking, I don't know, scroll on social media for a few hours a day. Well, no wonder your life feels empty. There's no fucking wonder that your life feels shit. And obviously, yeah, it's good to go to parties. It's good to drink alcohol whilst with your friends. Because simply, you're indulging in a social event. But one thing that you do have to realize is the people that you drink alcohol with are never going to be your real friends. Because if you open up to them about how you are truly feeling, and whilst you're drinking alcohol, they just say, what is this guy saying? Let's have some fun, right? It's like, I watch this YouTuber all the time, Hamza Ahmed. He used to talk about how he used to be very party geek, he used to pound every girl in the town. It was very, very cool. I really admire his lifestyle actually. But essentially, he used to talk about how he got friends that he used to drink and go out with. But he felt so empty within, and he explained that to his friends, and they said, well, okay, let's have some fun. They looked at him weird and that kind of stuff. It's like, you can feel so lonely when you're with so many people, and that's something I've realized as well, especially when you get on the journey of self-improvement and business. No one just understands you. No one understands what you mean, what you think, and how you think, and why you say what you say, and why you don't want to do certain things that other and normal people do. It's a whole different lifestyle. It's like the same as if you were a Christian trying to convince a Muslim why Jesus Christ is better than Muhammad. It's the same. You live in a whole different world. And that is exactly, coming back to the first point of this video, be open-minded towards others. Try to understand why people say what they say. Try to understand and see possibilities and opportunities in the verbal communication someone expresses to you, or the non-verbal communication. It's getting so warm, I'm sweating my ass off, so I'm probably gonna quit this video right now, but not with a banger, as a sort of reminder. I want to be so rich where I can just play this music and drive in a fucking big ass car and just blast the music out and just be cool. I want to live in Russia. I'll see you guys soon. Adios. I'm propaganda. I indulge into the media that your parents are afraid of, motherfucker. I'll see you later.